Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Elenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Hi, welcome to Fun is Fundamental. And today we have Paula Yolles on the show, and we have this really delightful conversation about emotional eating and how fun plays into that. Paula is the owner of Body, Mind, Food Freedom and is the founder of the End Emotional Eating with Ease method. Through her work, she empowers women to end emotional eating and help them to realize it's not really about the food, it's about how they feel about themselves and how they deal with everything around them and setting up boundaries. And so she helps them to have a better relationship with their body and to live a full, joyous life and to finally find peace with their relationship with food. Paula has over 20 years of holistic health and emotional wellness training, and she brings this to her open, non-judgmental, like really caring. You'll see that in this. She clearly is a very warm, caring person, and she brings, just in the conversation, and I know that she brings that to her coaching. It's very clear. Paula is trained in the Healers Program, Empowerment Chakra Tapping Mastery, EFT tapping, and she is a meal garden recipe professional. So let's welcome Paula Yolles to the podcast. Hi, Paula. How are you doing today?
Hi, Elenia. Really good. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. It's so nice to be having conversations with other people about fun. So I'm really excited to talk to you more about fun and emotional eating. I know that you work with clients with emotional eating.
Yeah.
How long
that may not sound like fun, but it is.
I promise. Yeah, I mean, when you think about that kind of thing, it doesn't sound like it would have anything to do with fun, but yeah.
But you're about to ask me, I think, how long I've been doing this. Is that right?
Yeah, it was.
So I've been helping women make peace with food, their bodies, and themselves for about 6 years now. And I just love the women I work with. And part of their journey actually is stepping into more fun. They don't usually know that that's going to be part of the journey with me. What I've discovered over the years of working with emotional eaters, and I used to be an emotional eater myself, is that we don't give ourselves permission to have fun. We're often putting other people's needs first. And even when we're doing something that would be considered fun, we're letting other people often drive the decision making. So it's something I work on with my clients to help them step into being able to make decisions around things that they enjoy doing and then being able to bring that to whatever situations they're in.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that these, not only are they not really having much fun, but they're also people pleasers?
Yes. Yes. I think in general, women in our culture are trained to be people pleasers. And then for whatever reason, something happens in a woman's life who ends up being an emotional eater, often something in their childhood as they're growing up that results in them making the wise decision at the time to soothe themselves with food. And then hence to become an emotional eater. And so I totally forgot what your question was and where I was going, to be honest.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah. I definitely know so many women that are, including myself, that are people pleasers.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and then a lot of people eat their feelings for sure. Like,
Yeah, and like I said, it was a wise decision and a choice when we were younger, because we had to do whatever we had to do in our situations to figure out how to take care of ourselves and soothe ourselves. And food is actually one of the things that can make you feel like you're being soothed, in that moment. And then as we're adults, we realize in the bigger picture, it's not really the healthiest choice, and it ends up impacting your body in the long run, and a lot of shame and blame going on in the mind and the chattering. And so, yeah, so it's people pleasing for sure is one of the things that often comes out of it.
Yeah. Do you think that there's like also people not knowing like how to express their feelings? That kind of thing too?
Yeah, because when you're aware of your feelings and then you're stuffing them down with the food, or you're at a point like I was, like I don't actually remember a lot of my childhood. Like I blocked out certain things. Like my parents got divorced when I was 5. I don't remember either of them until after the divorce, but I can describe the house we lived in, which I only lived in until I was 5 when they got divorced. I can describe my babysitters. They were 2 sisters. So, right. Like, so I disconnected from myself. I couldn't feel my emotions. I couldn't make decisions. Like if I was like, even when I was little, like 10 or something, if I got invited to 2 play dates on the same day, and I couldn't decide which one to go to. Like because emotionally it was overwhelming for me. So, I'm glad I busted through that and figured out how to peel away those layers. And now I'm into dealing with my emotions, the good, the bad, the tricky. And I see it as more of an adventure and expansion and growing experience. And, and that's where I could I give myself permission to have fun, now, and enjoy my things I do. So, yeah.
So how do you like work with your clients to like help them give themselves permission to have fun?
Well, I don't usually start there. What I usually start with is uncovering some of the layers of what's going on emotionally. Like what are some of their patterns emotionally? What's going on around their food, little actions they could take around their food. And then often we'll sort of like talk about like what their day looks like, and then I'll be like, or what their week looks like, and I'll be like, sort of noticing, like it'd be great if you could put in some self-care, which usually means something fun, and and just sort of reflect on that. Or if they make some comment that makes it really clear, that I can reflect back to them. And we talk about that and sort of, work through it. And like one of my clients I'm working with now, she understands it's beneficial for her to add fun in, but she's having a hard time even figuring out what she likes to do. So
yeah, that's a very people pleaser thing to be like, I don't even know what I like. Yeah. Do you ever
I was just kind of curious, like what got you on your journey into fun? The short version.
I guess, I don't know. I was just like, one day it was like, we're in the pandemic, and I was just like, I'm not having very much fun in my life. And then I'm like, I wasn't having very much fun before the pandemic. And then I was like, a lot of people aren't having enough fun. So then I was just kind of like, I think we should talk about how we need fun. And, it's just like, it was just like, it just kind of became like this, like kind of, it was like a little bit like, no, like, of course, that just makes sense. Like we should, like, why aren't we having fun? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pandemic certainly put a damper on having fun, but I agree with you. Like our culture values doing,
Mm-hmm.
and that equals self-worth, which then means people aren't actually necessarily making time to have fun, or it's like, oh, I'm going to work really hard Monday through Friday so then I can play hard on the weekend. And
Yeah. But then that's also like depleting. Like it's like you're depleting yourself like by working really hard, and then you're like playing so hard that you're depleting yourself. So like you never actually rest, and like so it's just like this cycle. Yeah. And then like, I think like this whole thing of like we are put so much emphasis and like importance on like, oh well, like what do you do, what's your job, like like that's like just like what defines you as a human being is like what's your job, what do you do, you know
I agree with you.
yeah, as
Totally
opposed
agree.
to huh
Go ahead.
no, I guess just like I was like thinking like I want to start asking people like what are you passionate about? Like that's what I want. I don't want to hear about your job. That like that doesn't really interest me that much. Unless you're like, I'm very passionate about this work that I'm doing, then I'm like, great. But yeah.
I love that.
Asking people.
All right, let's start doing that. You and me.
Yeah.
We'll commit it and spread it.
Yeah,
So,
let's change our culture.
I think the other thing that's robbing fun is technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, because unfortunately it's set up to be addictive. And so we're addicted to it. I'm guilty. Yeah. And so then like when we're just kind of, people aren't interacting as much and in real time, or
Mm-hmm.
and then also not spending enough time outside in nature, which is so healing and grounding. And so that's another thing that a lot of the women I work with, because they're putting other people's needs in front of theirs, and they're often not taking time to move their bodies, and it's something they desire that they want to do, and it's just an all-around win-win. Like even going outside for 5 to 10 minutes, it just lifts your emotional energy. It lets your body relax, if you're unplugged.
Yeah.
So like I used to take my phone with me on my walks. It's like, nope, leaving it at home now,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the birds singing. And so that's something I really believe in, making changes with ease, not with force. And
Mm-hmm.
so my motto is ease, flow, and fun, actually. So nice. I try to have that with my clients and helping the women be like, okay, what do you like to do? You like to ride your bike? You like to go out, you walk for a walk? Do you like to walk your dog? Throw a frisbee to your dog? Walk with a friend? And just, I don't care what it is, but
yeah,
just help them. And then they're like, oh yeah, it felt so good. And I started with the 10 minutes and now I'm just like going after work and relaxing. I'm not even noticing the time. And, it just lifts their spirits and it helps you decompress, de-stress,
mm-hmm.
Helps your brain figure out things. And then you can tap in and connect to yourself more. And I think then be able to talk to other humans around things might be going on for you that's resulting in emotional eating, so that then you're not doing it as much.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because like, yeah, I think that probably, and until people can give themselves permission to be able to talk about like the things that are bothering them, or like are like just like, yeah, if you just keep on letting things build up, like it's not ever going to resolve itself. Yeah.
The other day, when we were talking, you shared that you went to a smash room.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't done exactly that, but part of my journey of releasing my emotional eating and stepping into self-compassion for myself and love for myself and being able to consistently eat healthy. And I will be honest, like I occasionally emotionally eat still, like it happens. Like last week after my therapy session, I was like, okay, I'm gonna eat some chocolate now, and I know I'm emotionally eating, so my feelings are pushed up. But part of my journey 15 years ago, when I was really making the beginning process of transformation, like I said, my counselor, my therapist who I was working at the time, in her garage, she set up sort of her own smash room, like, before they existed.
Oh, cool.
And so we went out there and I threw glass bottles, and she had a metal garbage can and a baseball bat so I could smash it. And it was just so therapeutic. And to be able to yell and scream and, say whatever, and and have somebody witness it and support me through it. I actually highly encourage. I think you could share about it too, and share about your experience if you want or not. But there's a piece for women, especially where we're told we can't get angry, because if we do, we're the B word, and or other things are called, and so then we suppress our anger and we end up eating. Often, I am just talking about emotional eating, so that you end up eating it down and stuffing it down with the foods because you're not able to express what's going on. And then eventually it actually does sneak out in various ways that sometimes are very obvious and other ways aren't. So
actually I did do an episode on the smash room, and part of like my kind of research around it was like about healthy aggression, because I think as women we're definitely trained to just be like, you're not allowed to like even pursue like what you want a lot of times, like even in that just simple way of like using your abilities and your
stepping into your power and using your abilities in a healthy way. And I don't know, it was very therapeutic. So like I sometimes I haven't gone to smash room, but sometimes if I need to really let it rip, I have a baseball bat out in the garage, and then I come in, and on the guest bed I go at it. So nobody's getting hurt, and I'm releasing my feelings instead of eating them. So like there's all different ways. You don't have to pay to go to smash room. So
well, I like that even like you're like, I still emotionally eat sometimes, but you acknowledge, like, it, you acknowledge it. So it probably has changed your relationship with like it happening, because you're not just like maybe pretending that's not happening, or like, or it's subconscious, like so it doesn't have the same control.
I agree. And when I use this, I agree with you. Like, it doesn't have the same control. I'm very aware of it when I'm doing it. It's, and so it's just a consciousness around it. And sometimes I like, okay, I'm not actually going to do this. I'm going to process in a different way. And sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to have some of that chocolate, and I'm going to go for a walk after, and, whatever to like, So,
but it's not the end of the world. Like, you don't need to carry that shame also with like the fact that you're eating the chocolate, right?
Chocolate's my thing. Could be anything. I know it could be chips or crisps, as they say in England, or whatever. I mean, you can emotionally eat on a bag of carrots. It doesn't really matter what it is.
It's true. I don't know if it's quite as satisfying.
So
for sure. Would you would you say that any of your clients have had any resistance around do they ever like kind of fight you back when you're like, oh, maybe you need to have a little more fun, like gently, and they're like, oh no, that's not the reason. Like, does anyone ever like kind of like question that at all?
I haven't had it like directly questioned, but it's more because at the point where that's woven in, I usually have a relationship with them already. They've already seen some transformation happen. They already seen like they're starting to make better boundaries for themselves with their food and with other people in their lives or with themselves. And so there's a trust there. But it's more the resistance, like I said earlier, where they'll be like, well, I don't even know what I like to do. Like,
Yeah.
or yeah, I do want to be moving my body, but I don't know what I like doing, or like I can't really do yoga anymore. And I used to like yoga. So it's more like they'll come up with the if, ands, or buts of not being able to figure that out.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but then I might be just like, we do some work on it. I do tapping, emotional freedom technique. I'm trained in that, and I'm trained in a special type of tapping called empowerment chakra tapping. It does, you're not literally tapping on your chakras, but you're releasing the energy that's stuck in those different parts of your body. Because when we get when we stuff down emotions with eating, you're like emotionally stuff energetically, you're also stuffing the emotions and it gets stuck somewhere in your body. So we might do some tapping around it to also help the person, and then they might be like, oh yeah, now I remember I like coloring, and I have some adult coloring books in the closet, or I do really, if you have pets, usually people like to snuggle with their pets, like, just giving. Anything could be fun. It doesn't have to be like a big adventures are great, but it doesn't have to be that too. It can be something, that's just readily available inside of where you live.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a big proponent of, just having little doses of fun like every day. Like we don't always have to make this big deal about it. Like, it's just be present in your life and like notice the trees and be like, hey, I'm gonna go take a walk, or like just little doses is enough.
I totally agree with you. I'm like, sometimes when I'm walking with my friends, sometimes I'll be like, oh, hi squirrel, or like so, or hi chipmunk, or really notice, like right now all the flowers are blooming, so I love looking at everybody's yards and seeing the flowers. And today I actually literally stopped and smelled my neighbor's rose bush.
Yep, I'll do that. I definitely like the lilacs, when the lilacs are out. Oh, I love the smell of those, and I would just be like, just put them all in my face, like they smell so good. And then the roses, like I'm all about stopping and smelling the flowers,
Yeah, me too. I love lilacs too. So.
Yeah. It's like it feels like such a cliche to be like, oh yeah, you're just gonna stop and smell the flowers, but it's like, no, like enjoy the things around you.
and the other thing that is, I was just thinking, like, food is fun. Like, it's, if you like baking or cooking, it can be fun, or maybe you don't like doing it all the time, but you like holiday cooking a special dish that you're the person who makes that dish at the holiday, and it's fun for you to make that, or so. And food is like part of every day. We have to eat to survive, and every celebration has food. And so that piece too, it's like, it's okay to eat food of all different types, but it's the enjoying it without having guilt or shame attached to it. Like, if you're going to choose to eat it, Like you're saying, like enjoy the little things. So if you're going to eat something, like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like be like really, like you said, be mindful around what, like if you were referencing being outside of nature, but the same thing, like be mindful. I would recommend being mindful around your food, which I know is not so easy. So it's peeling the emotional layers that are keeping us stuck, and at the same time making concrete actions forward. And so, like when you're out on a walk, like you and I were just talking about, like stopping and looking at the flowers. Well, one meal a day, you could be like, okay, I'm going to make sure that for this meal, I'm going to actually stop, look at the food on my plate and enjoy eating it and tasting it and connecting to it more, and that can make a difference.
Yeah. People so often like just distractedly eat. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, technology doesn't help with that, right? Because a lot of people watch TV or a movie at night and eat, and so there's very little connection to the food.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Do you find that like people that emotionally eat sometimes feel like they're not supposed to feel like pleasure? Like is there a block between like the permission to feel pleasure and doing things like emotionally eating, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's I do think that for not all women, but for some women, and I'm only talking about women because I haven't worked with men, so I don't really know what their habits and patterns and inner thinking around this is, but it is something that affects males also. Is that, well, there's the whole thing of like giving yourself permission to be attached to yourself, connected to yourself, know yourself. And part of that is knowing things that bring you pleasure. And then if you're supposed to be doing, that doesn't include pleasure usually, right? So, and I think a lot of families growing up, there's really mixed communication around having time to have pleasure. They're like, even like, it's like, oh, maybe you're on this sports team when you're growing up, but it's still like this hard drive competition thing, instead of like, oh, I'm just going to enjoy this and do this, and it doesn't matter how my team does. I mean, not everybody's like that, like freshman year of high school, I did cross country and track, and my coach was great around just being like, everybody's where they're at, and myself and my cousin, we were always the last two in, and she was always like, this is for you to enjoy and for you to compete against yourself, don't worry about the rest. And so I was able to feel better about myself. I didn't totally feel great about always being almost last, depended on was me or my cousin, but but I just think there's so much mindset junk in our culture around not allowing space and time for pleasure. And if you're doing it, your brain's usually thinking about your to-do list, or instead of just being in the moment.
Definitely. Yeah, we're definitely trained to be productive and be like, it's all about like being a good citizen, and and then I think like with like the not trust, like we're taught not to trust our like intuition and all stuff too. So
yeah you're like so on with all this. It's great. So yes, we are. So like, again, that's another thing, like we get our intuition shut down at such a young age, so it just it's not supported. And it's a beautiful thing because your intuition is your inner guidance system. And that's what it is, right? And I really didn't really get my intuition back, I'd say, until the past 4 years. Like it was something that was part of when I was younger, and I got disconnected from myself in order to navigate my life. When I was younger, I shut down my intuition. I was told I was too sensitive about things, and I didn't know what intuition was, right? So when you're younger, and I mean, some families talk about those things, but my family didn't. So, and then past 4 or 5 years working with my own coaches and things, it allowed me to step into being able to connect at a deeper level to my own navigation system. And, and I'm still working on it. Like, it's something I'm still figuring out, like, oh, what do I really want here? Check in with myself instead of letting the other person lead, or trying to accommodate the other person without tapping into my needs. So
for sure. Yeah. I guess, like, generally, how long would you say it usually takes for people to see improvements in when they're working through this?
Okay, well, that's a tricky question because everybody's coming in at a different, with different needs, different speeds, just like learning to ride a bike. Like, people learn to ride a bike in like 1 or 2 days, and other people need like years to ride a bike. So, but generally my clients work with me anywhere. I do 3, 6, 9, or 12-month programs, and I also have a group program coming up that's going to be starting at the end of June, beginning of July. So I'm really excited about that. But generally, clients work with me anywhere from 3 to 9 months. That tends to be, but in the beginning, in the 3 months, there's usually definitely some transformation starting to happen. So there's usually like starting to be able to pause when they feel the feelings coming up and use some of the different strategies or techniques that they've learned from working with me, so that they can then ground themselves, center themselves, and make a conscious decision around, like, okay, am I gonna emotionally, or I'm not gonna emotionally, or what am I gonna have for dinner? Because if they want to be eating consistently healthy, even though they know what it is. And then the other piece, sometimes there's like surprising things that happen where they'll be like, oh, I just like cleared out my basement in my house, and it's been like that for 10 years. And I'm like, yes, that's because of the work we're doing together. Like, it's some of the unexpected things, or, they'll be like, oh, I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a couple of months, and she said I was glowing, and because they're feeling better about themselves emotionally, and their mood is uplifting, and they're trying to connect to themselves and have self-compassion and some love for themselves. So it just keeps expanding.
Yeah, self-compassion is something that a lot of people struggle with, for sure. We're really hard on ourselves. Like, our inner monologues are like really
can
be so mean.
Yes, we can be. So, yes, and also other people don't realize how much what they say impacts us. So, like, over the weekend, I got together at the lake, a bunch of my besties. We got together and their families, and so we were catching up. And one of the women whose mom is a mom, her son's in 6th grade, and she said her son won't wear shorts to school. And and she explained that another kid a couple of years ago had teased him about his knees and the way his knees look. And, you know, it's, and like, he's carrying that around for years now. And even though like his family's tried to help him process it, like, and this happens to all of us. And, you know, and it's just sort of that there's just too much body bashing or saying things about bodies and judging people. And it's so unhelpful.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that we internalize and then just blows up inside our head. So also, you know, like you were saying, the beating ourselves up and the negative self-talk. And I had a huge aha discovery when one of the things when I was shifting my emotional eating and releasing it is that I got off a refined sugar, white sugar. It was a slow, steady process. It's not so easy to get off of it because it's literally addictive. So I slowly, steadily got off of it for months. And then once I was totally off of it and stayed off of it for a long time, and then I don't remember how long it was, like a number of months. And then I had some white sugar again for a couple of days in a row for some reason, like the holidays or something. And then my negative self-talk came back in a huge way that I didn't realize that getting off the refined sugar like made such a big difference until I went back on it.
Wow.
And right. So, and like I'd say about 80% of my negative self-talk decreased by getting off the refined sugar. And like I said, I eat chocolate, so I'm eating sugar. For me, my maple syrup, honey, and coconut sugar is fine, but there's something around white sugar. So that's an interesting experiment.
Wow. Yeah.
It just really impacts us in ways we don't realize it. It's so people are probably like, yeah, but it's fun to eat cake and pie and, you know, and I agree, it is. And I don't deprive myself of eating those. I just find healthier versions, or I make it myself, or, you know, my friends make it, or and actually it's getting easier and easier now in grocery stores to find healthier versions. So luckily, so I can still have fun. It does, like when I go home to my family, usually the desserts, you know, for the holidays, I go home and the desserts are not what I would eat. So I either bring something to share. They always have fruit, and I like fruit. I think fruit's fun too. You know, or if I don't want to make something, I'll just bring a chocolate bar and have a little bit of that with my fruit, you know. So, you know, I don't feel deprived. You don't have to give up your foods you love. You can just find other options and still enjoy and have fun eating delicious things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really surprising. What you said about the processed white sugar. It's kind of scary.
I agree. And you have to be off of it for quite a while, like to feel it. Like it really takes a while to clear out of the system. Like I haven't done the research to know, but I would say probably at least 2 weeks of really not being on it. And, you know, and then I don't know, but everybody's body's different, but I really strongly believe it's up there with top unhealthy things that unfortunately processed food companies and, you know, fast food companies are pushing our way all the time.
Definitely. So I guess what would you say to just people listening, like what are like the top, like maybe top things that could like just like little tips that could help people with their mild food issues?
Some easy, fun and easy, fun, and flow. Or
Yes.
Easy flow and fun.
Easy flow and fun.
Fun. Yeah, ways to shift and release some of your food struggles is one, I would say, is don't do the shame and blame. Do the conscious, mindful, I'm eating this, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to be really present with it. It takes a little while to get used to, and I would suggest putting little post-it notes or little index card folded in half on your places where you eat to remind yourself, even if that's like on the refrigerator, if you stand at the fridge and eat, or so that's one little thing you could do. And then the other thing is, when those tricky emotions come up and you feel yourself grabbing for something to eat, to soothe yourself, or if you're in the middle, because sometimes it's so unconscious, you don't really realize it until you're like in the middle, is whatever point it is, just stop and be like, see if you could figure out what's going on for you emotionally, like what's your inner truth going on, and what's another way you could address it or soothe yourself. That's not so easy necessarily to do by yourself, but
sure,
so. And then if it's not something you can figure out yourself, and you've tried and tried and tried, find somebody to support you. It doesn't, whether there's so many options of amazing humans helping other humans make changes to make things easier in their lives. And of course, I'm available if you want to, but I might not be your person, and I'm totally good with that. Like people have to find the people that match for them to support them. Just like, like we don't all like the same primary care physicians, or we don't all like the same massage therapist. If you go to massage or acupuncture, whatever, you have to find works for you. And that's the same if you want to work on your food struggles, so you can have inner peace with food and yourself. You got to find the right person to support you.
For sure. It's people, I think like people, like, for example, like go to like one therapist, and they'll be like, well, therapy is not for me. And you're like, you tried one therapist. you could try again, try someone else. Maybe you'll find therapy is for you.
Right. Or a different style.
Yeah.
Or maybe, a coach. I mean, there's just so many wonderful options now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And because most support like that, emotional support now is online, people can connect with everybody anywhere. So
there's so many more options now, and people are talking so much more about like emotional well-being, than we were before. Mental health is like not such this taboo thing to like talk about or have some struggles with or something.
Yeah, which is wonderful. So
any other fun tidbits?
Well, I mean, I would try to build in, like you said, daily, something that feels daily fun, something that's nurturing yourself, your soul emotionally, whether it's going for a walk for 5 minutes, or sitting outside with your coffee or tea or water in the morning, for 10 minutes before you go to work or start your day. Just anything. Like I said, my client who likes coloring, like finding 10 minutes to just give yourself permission to color if you like to do that. Or I'm in the process of setting up in my living room like a little art area where I can just leave art supplies out, because I like to do collage and painting, but it always feels like such a process to set it up, clean it up, and da da da. So I was like, oh, who cares? A little part of my living room has, a table with art supplies on it. Like, if my friends don't like it, too bad. Like
Yeah.
when they come over, or if my son doesn't like it, oh well, like it's okay. Like I'm giving myself permission to set it up so it's easy, so I can just dive in and have a little fun with the art.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as like it's not like taking over your whole house, like why does it matter, right? Yeah, for sure.
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. I like that idea of just being like, I just have this little corner for like doing this thing that I love. How do you define fun? Like what does fun mean for you?
To me, fun means when you're doing whatever you're doing, you're really in the moment with it for the majority of the time, and that you're just feeling uplifted and good and happy and energized, like it charges you up as opposed to drain you down or keep you where you are. So,
For sure.
like I could put on a song and dance like crazy for a few minutes, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, that was fun, So,
Yeah. What kind of music do you like?
oh, well, wide variety. I've been into Ben Rector lately, and I also listen to a woman, her name's Batya Levine, and she sings Hebrew Jewish songs. She lives in the United States, but I love singing her music. Uh, let's see, I like James Taylor, like a wide variety.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Okay, I like to ask people what their play personality is. So according to Dr. Stuart Brown, who is part of the Institute of Play, there are 8 play personalities. I'm going to look at them because I don't want to forget one. The Joker, the artist, the explorer, the collector, the storyteller, the kinesthetic, the competitor, and the director. And the director is like the person that likes to plan the fun activities, the plan things, or find planning fun. Yes.
okay. I would say artist and director.
Sure. Yeah.
And for me, the artist, like I said, I like painting and doing that, but also just cooking for me is very artistic. Like I do simple meals, but I just love it. And I love making the presentation of it look nice. And it just is really fun for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not always the director among my friends, but tend to be sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You enjoy having people come over and things like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What are you, or have you already told that in a podcast?
I don't know if I've actually told it in the podcast. I am an artist, an explorer, and a director. I think those 3 the most.
Yeah, I
Although,
probably
like,
have to. I have to
sometimes you
hear.
can feel other things a little bit. What would you
I say I probably have to hear them again. But when you said explorer, I was like, yeah, explorer when somebody else is the director.
Yeah. Yeah, but even like explore can be like exploring like a topic, like you like to like research things or something like that. So like it's not even doesn't always have to be like explore like traveling kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, and I've been pushing my boundaries around fun. Like I'm trying to make some new social connections, and so I've been pushing myself to go to some events and by myself to go and meet new people. So it's like really scary at first, but then usually I relax into it and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be really, really scary and intimidating when you're like, just like, I'm gonna go to this place with strangers. Like, yeah. And I mean, that's, a lot of people like, talk about not having enough friends, and it's, you have to be willing to put yourself out there and do those things that are really uncomfortable. So obviously, like, that's how a lot of people feel, for good reason. you know, you want to protect yourself. But yeah, it's sad. A lot of people don't have enough friends. Yeah.
So I feel like I have a lot of friends, but I'm ready for some new friends to do some other things with. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of times, like certain friends will get, and you will get into like routines. Like it's like we do this together. Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you be your dream vacation?
Oh. Um, I'd like to what? I went with my son. He's in his just finished his third year of college, and I think we went this summer of his junior year of high school. So about 4 or 5 years ago, we went to Italy, and part of what we did is we went to cooking school that was up in the mountains, and we went for 3 days. It was really beautiful, and like in the morning there was just 8 of us at their place. That's all they could take at their place, and the husband would take us in the morning to go sightseeing, and then we'd have lunch somewhere out, and then we'd go back and have rest and relax time, and then we'd all cook a meal together. And the couple were teaching us how to cook, Italian meals, and it was so fun. So I would like to do something like that, but like in another country.
Yeah.
It was just really fun because I like sightseeing and I like learning about cultures and people, and I like food.
Yeah.
And cooking, and it was a nice intimate group too. And
Yeah.
because we spent a number of days together, so we got to know each other a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really fun. So that, and then I also love going to the ocean and the beach and going for long walks. And so I have lots of things.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to have like such a close connection to people that actually live in a place. So I imagine that like made it even more special because like
Yeah,
you get you get that little door in to see what is like inside,
yeah, it was. And I think also like when we went to stay at a couple other locations. This was a really special. This was his pre-graduation, like his high school graduation trip. It was a special thing, and I look forward to doing more of this kind of thing. And we always stayed at an Airbnb. So it was so we were in different neighborhoods. Like the first place we were in Milan, the electricity went out the first night. Like we're in a new place, in an apartment building, in an Airbnb, like we're in a neighborhood where people didn't speak English really. And so it was like it was this whole like adventure. And so we got to know the neighborhood, some of the neighbors, and like we had to use Google Translate on our phones to be able like, and they explained, oh, this happens like sort of regularly in the neighborhood with electricity being turned off for a little while.
Oh.
So but it was like you were saying, it was like instant connection to the neighbors because we were like, what's going on? So
That's funny. Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, you're not from around here. Like we have to explain this to you. That's funny. Yeah. That'll you'll learn something from going through something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about one last question. What makes you feel luxurious?
Oh, that's a good one. It makes me feel luxurious. Wow. Um, well, I would say wearing some really nice clothes um, feels luxurious. I don't like, I live in an area where people don't tend to really like dress on the dressier side. It's more casual in my where I live. And so like you have to kind of find a reason to dress a little dressier. And my birthday was a couple months ago, and we were just having fun hanging out downtown somewhere. It was like the arts night for the downtown, and we went into this secondhand clothing store and retro clothing, and there was this beautiful dress, and I was like, oh, it looks like my size. Like it was even like the measurements on it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try it on. It's totally not my style that I normally wear anything. And I tried it on, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. I have to get it. And then my friend, but I was like, when would I wear this thing? Like, it's like, it was like, I'm like, I'm not going to a wedding soon. I'm not going to a bar mitzvah soon. And there was some young girls there, probably like high school age. They were like, you can just wear it around town. Nobody's going to say anything to you. And I was like, they're right. So,
just wear it because you want to.
Right, exactly. So I just I needed them to give me permission and be like, yeah, you're right. So
nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love that. I often am like, oh, I just want to dress up sometimes, but then you feel like, oh, I'm overdressed. But like, sometimes you're just like, who cares? I'm going to overdress. Like, you just do it because you want to.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's a good question. I'm going to start thinking about that. What makes me feel luxurious? Thanks for asking that.
Yeah. People don't go out of their way to make themselves feel luxurious nearly enough.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has to be expensive. Like I bought a piece of clothing that makes me feel luxurious, but it doesn't have to be that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it could just be like, something soft or a candle smell or yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that
sitting with your legs up outside, like that, taking nature in could feel luxurious. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Paula, for being here. How can the listeners find you?
Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me, Lorena. So easiest way to find me and connect with me, if you're on Facebook, I have a free Facebook group for women, and it's called End Emotional Eating Sisterhood. So End Emotional Eating Sisterhood, and it's filled with a lot of amazing women, and so we'd love to have you join that group. And if you're not on Facebook, I'm also on Instagram. That's under my name, Paula Yolles, which you can look in the podcast notes, but it's Yolles is Yolles, so Paula Yolles. And so that's my handle on Instagram. And you can also email me. I will get back to you. It might not be immediately. And my email is paula@paulayolles.com. So I'm happy to connect and help you think about your journey and what might be the best next step to help you end your emotional eating, whether that's nighttime snacking, cravings, overeating, binge eating, like the whole gamut of it. So
that's awesome.
And I'll help you find some more fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for the work that you do and also for being here today.
Thank you for having me and bringing more fun to the world.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you. Have a good night. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed my talk with Paula, and I certainly did. I had a great time. So I just wanted to say thank you to her again, and also to just have a few, talk about a few takeaways that I think people can definitely easily implement in their own lives. So one, she talks about ease, flow, and fun. Find small things that bring you joy, be it art, taking a walk, coloring, There's a lot of just small things that you can do in small chunks, and, just anything that brings you joy. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. Make it easy for yourself and just find more ways to get into the flow of joy. 2, gotta make connections with yourself. So, then you can identify your needs, you can be able to form boundaries, and you can learn how to trust your intuition, which a lot of people get really drilled into them that they can't trust their intuition. 3, give yourself permission to have fun. Remember that fun is a form of self-care. We constantly are putting fun on the back burner, and that it doesn't matter, but it matters as much as you taking a shower. I really believe that. It's like one of those things that's gonna it's gonna wash your brain. It's gonna wash your emotions. We need to be having fun. It's really imperative. And one of the things that makes us human. 4, cut down on technology. We are so often just not really that present in our lives. And I definitely have experienced, especially when feeling some burnout, that you just numb out. But numbing out isn't really helping us. And that's what people are doing with food, is numbing out instead of actually dealing with their emotions. Same with technology. We want to be present in our lives and be present with our food. Food is fun. And so, start with 1 meal a day and just no technology, and try to eat mindfully and really taste your food, enjoy your food, take pleasure from your food, because food is pleasurable, and it is community, and it is culture, and it brings so much richness and beauty to our lives. And so we don't want to just demonize food, even if it has caused us some pain. It's not food's fault. We have to figure out other ways to deal with our emotions. I think I'm on 6. It obviously doesn't matter if it's not 6. Give yourself grace when you do emotionally eat. It's not your fault, and it takes years to really work through things. And so it's okay if you do sometimes, but it's more of just becoming aware of it, and then, figuring out ways to deal with your emotions. And I think 7, I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you need to, seek outside help. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So, have a great week. See you next week. Have fun. Love you. Bye.